It is finally time for me to get serious about bodybuilding again. I've been enjoying myself, eating not so good but very tasty, and I haven't really been living the bodybuilding lifestyle. Basically, I took myself an off season in terms of a real off season from bodybuilding. But yesterday I turned 30 and that was the final day of my, let's call it my big off-season sheet period. It's time for me to get serious again, and that will mean new diet, new training. Training is mostly the same, but a couple of things I'm gonna switch up, and new gear protocol. So in today's video I will go through everything, like my new diet and what I will actually switch around in my training. I will also go through my new gear protocol, and I'm really excited about that part. So hopefully you will be able to enjoy this video as well as I go through everything and I actually explain why I choose to do what I choose to do. We should start off with a diet. The most boring part, let's be honest, it's not fun at all, but it is also the part that will give the most results. And that is the reason why most people don't really see the improvements that they want to see, because they do everything except from the most important part, the diet. When I make a diet, and I believe that most coaches actually do make the diet about the same way, because there is actually a pretty clear blueprint on how you make a diet. So the two first most important things when it comes to the diet is calories and protein. The first thing that I believe that everybody does is to set the protein amount, and it's pretty simple. Like, it's 2 grams of protein per kg of body weight. That's the fundamental rule. Now, more lifestyle people tend to have a little bit less, but the serious bodybuilders tend to have a little bit more. Now, some people will argue that you don't need more, it doesn't matter. And that's cool, bro. You do you, right? But like pretty much all the bodybuilders keep like the 2 grams of protein per kg of body mass as a bare minimum. In terms of science, I don't really believe that the science is really that relevant, to be honest, when it comes to a bodybuilder, because a bodybuilder has so many different things going on in his body compared to a normal person that we can't use the science, the data that we have extracted from normal people. Like, bodybuilders are different. A bodybuilder that's running 2 grams of gear is not the same as a normal person who is considered a trained individual in the study because he played like tennis for 2 years or something. You know, it's very different. I usually set my body weight at 80 kgs, and that's around where I'm at. Yeah, I'm a small guy, small bone structure. So that means that I should have at least 160 grams of protein, and I tend to bump it up to 200. So I want at least 200 grams of protein. That's around 200 grams of protein. That's where I'm at. Second, after that, it's about the calories. Since I'm going on a diet, because what I do when I enjoy myself, I gain weight. Some people lose weight, some gain weight, you know, when they allow themselves to do whatever they want. I gain weight. Okay, so I need to get on a deficit now. Calorie deficit. So approximately I burn a little bit more than 3,000 calories after a period of off season. When I get on a diet for a longer period of time, my body will actually get amped up, the engine will start going, and I will burn more calories. So right now I'm probably burning about 3,000 calories, maybe a little bit more. But once my engines gets going, it's gonna be like 3,500 calories. Bodybuilding and bodybuilding coaches know this. The scientific people, the smart scientific people know this as well. But the people who give general advice will not say that you can affect your metabolism in that way. You can, trust me. I will be eating 2,500 calories, approximately. Based on the numbers on math, I should lose about half a kg per week. In the beginning I'm gonna lose more because I'm gonna lose bloat and water weight that I put on from eating too much. People tend to say that it's water weight. For me, in my experience, for myself, a lot is just about the body cleaning out the gut. So I carry like my stomach will start pointing out when I eat too much. That's because there's so much food in my stomach, because I tend to overeat. And the first weight I'm going to drop is mainly going to be that bloat. And I'm gonna lose a little bit of water weight, but not that much probably. Mostly it's gonna be bloat for me. Everybody's a little bit different. What most coaches do is that they choose their protein sources, and then they use the app like MyFitnessPal or any other calorie tracking app, and they add in different protein sources based on what the person who's going to have the diet wants to eat. So for me, like most coaches are, okay, you can have egg, you can have whey protein, you have some chicken, you have some beef, maybe they get to have a little bit of salmon. You know, everybody gets different protein sources, right? Me personally, I don't enjoy cooking, and for me the time it takes to cook like 4 different protein sources is just not worth it. I'd rather just cook 1 protein source and have it ready for the day and just not eat with my emotions. Everybody's different. I'm a little bit of a workaholic. I try to cut down everything that requires time and effort and decision making, so I try to not have to make too many decisions in my life at once, because that takes effort. You have like a certain amount of decisions you can make every day that you're gonna be good making good decisions, and once you run out of that energy, you're gonna be making worse decisions. That's why we typically tend to make worse decisions later on the day rather than in the morning. I'm just gonna go with chicken. So I will have chicken breast, and I will have 800 grams of chicken breast every day, and that will approximately, let me put up my MyFitnessPal because I got it all here in the app. 800 grams. Now this is approximate, this is not exact numbers, because as I told you before, each chicken is a little bit different, but approximately I will be getting 170 grams of protein, which means that I'm getting a little bit more than 2 grams of protein per kg of body weight just from the chicken. Now when you add in the carbohydrates as well, there's gonna be like protein from the carbohydrate source. So if you have rice, there's gonna be a little bit of protein in the rice, right? So I'm gonna go even higher than 170 grams of protein, but this is like the baseline, and that is like 900 calories. It says it's 20 grams of fat. Like, I don't believe that's gonna be my case. I cut off the fat from the chicken, and like the way when you've done this for a while, you know how fat tastes, you know how protein tastes, you know how carbohydrates taste, and I'm not gonna get 20 grams of fat from the chicken. There's no way. And also I cook it without any fat. I do it in the air fryer, so there is no fat. So I would guess it's like 10 grams of fat, maybe even less. Every day I'm just gonna cook 800 grams of chicken and have that for the day. On top of that, I will actually add in 2 eggs. And this is going to be my fat. So eggs have protein and fat, right? But it's a very high fat content for a protein source. So like if you have eggs, you have, like, for me, in my opinion, it's mainly a fat source. And that's pretty much all the fat I will have in my diet. That is the 2 eggs, and that will give me 10 grams of fat and 12 grams of protein. Basically what we look at is how much protein do you get and how much fat do you get, and then if you want to get more protein, you're gonna have to get more fat as well, right? Because you have more eggs, you get more fat. So like typically that's a little bit too fatty for me typically, but that's all the fat I will have in the diet. And I will have those 2 eggs before I go to bed, so that the energy can carry me a little bit longer through the night. So there you have my protein and you have my fat. And when it comes to fat, as a bodybuilder, you're gonna have the fat you need to feel good and be stable, but not any more than that. So some people want to have a little bit more fat, some people need it to feel good. I don't. The only reason I like fat is because it's delicious, but not because my body runs much better on carbs than on fat. And that is what you want as a bodybuilder. Now you can have some fat if you want that, and also you're a human being, right? So I mean, you gotta consider everything. So a lot of people who have a bit more fat than me, I know for a fact that I will perform better with less fat, and fat will slow down my digestion, which will actually give me worse results. So if I have more fat, it is gonna give me worse results. After that, that is like approximately 1,000 calories. So about 1,000 calories from my protein sources and my fat. And that means that I have 1,500 calories left for carbohydrates. And I just basically plugged in rice and increased the number until I reached the number that I wanted. Now I'm gonna have some pineapple as well. I add in pineapple, but I will give myself the freedom every day to choose which fruit I want. So basically I'm gonna have 100 calories from fruit every day. So whichever fruit I choose, I just have 100 calories from that fruit. And I will have that as I like, as I feel or prefer throughout the day. So if I feel like having fruit, if I don't feel like having fruit for breakfast, maybe I will save it for later. Or maybe I really feel like having fruit for breakfast and I will have fruit for breakfast, right? So I get 100 calories from fruit every day. And I do believe that that's really, really good. Like fruits are good for you. Let's just keep it simple. It is good for you. Vegetables, you can argue. A lot of people say it doesn't really do much. Some people say you need to eat your vegetables. Maybe it's a thing that their mother taught them that they could not let go of. I personally don't believe that vegetables really matter that much, but fruits, they matter, they are good, they are beneficial, right? I will have 100 calories from fruit and I will have 350 grams of rice every day. And that's the carbohydrates, that's 1,260 calories. So this puts me a little bit lower than 2,500 calories total, just a little bit lower. And on top of that, because I am still a human being, I will fit this plan with my emotions. So every training day when I work out, I will have a smoothie. So after my, the thought process is that after my workout, I will sit down and enjoy a smoothie. That's the plan, right? If I one day am in a hurry after the workout and I don't do that, I can have the smoothie later. Or if I really, really crave that smoothie in the morning, I can have it before I train. That is not really written in stone, but I'm aware that it's the most beneficial post-workout. So a lot boils down to being aware and try to make the best decisions, but also balancing that with my life, okay? So that's basically it for the diet. Like typically when I make my chicken, I will slice up a carrot and throw it in the air fryer with the chicken. I believe that makes a big difference. It makes it, you know, add some texture, you know, a little bit of color in the food is nice, you know. And also on top of that, I will have a little bit of sauce. So maybe I will have like 20 to 30 calories from some sweet sauce with every meal. And I don't track that. The reason I don't track that is because it's constant. It doesn't go up, it doesn't go down. So the calorie number, it's just a guideline. But once you have the diet dialed in, you just adjust. So what the calorie number says isn't really important. What is important is that if you realize that you should be losing weight and you're not, that you realize, okay, maybe I need to cut down my calories even more because my metabolism slowed down. Or maybe, you know, in some cases, not for like most people, but for some bodybuilders, you need to add calories just to wake the metabolism up, okay? But I won't have to do that. My metabolism is a fucking machine still. I'm 30 years old, I'm young, I'm fresh, my body is running like an engine. I will not need to have refeeds anytime soon, especially after this binge season I've been in. On rest days, I will allow myself to have a coffee. And when I say that, like I will have my normal coffee every day, regardless, like normal black coffee. But when I say on rest days, I'm gonna allow myself to have a coffee, I will go out to a cafe and choose whichever coffee I want. And if I one day feel like having a coffee that is like slightly more towards the ice cream than a coffee, I will have that. Because I'm a human being and bodybuilding is really important to me. I live for it, I love it. But I've reached a point where I'm not gonna become a fucking machine anymore because I consider myself more of a human being and I have no competition in sight. So I'm not looking to compete anytime soon. Maybe I'll compete in the future, but right now there is no competition in sight, which means that I will actually consider myself a human being. And on rest days I will have a coffee. So basically let's approximate that the smoothie contains 150 calories, maybe 200 calories, and the coffee contains maybe 100 calories or something like that. So that's gonna add up to about 2,500 calories with the smoothie and the coffee on the rest days. And the sauce, as I told you, it's a constant, so it doesn't change. So I'm not worried about that. That's basically my diet. So I'm gonna go with a low, like most people consider it a high protein diet. I consider it a medium protein diet. And everybody can probably agree that this is a low fat diet and a high carbohydrate diet, as high as I can. Like I have as many carbs as I can while still losing weight, because I need to lose weight. So there is one more thing that I forgot to mention that I think is pretty important to say, just so that you don't beat me up when you see this afterwards. So I will allow myself to eat out in cases of social circumstances. So if I meet a new friend or I have a friend and they want to eat out, I will actually allow myself to eat out, and I will simply make sure that the total macros for the day add up to about the same. So for instance, I meet a new person, I find out that person may be able to help me or have knowledge or something, and we can help each other. I will actually have dinner with that person and enjoy that, and I will just take away from my normal food in order to have that food. So bodybuilding is something that I absolutely love, but I do think I have reached a point in my life where it's no longer my #1 priority. And if I see an opportunity and I meet a person that I think is a good person to know, I will not allow my diet to limit the new opportunities. I will eat with a conscience, which means that I will try to avoid a Kentucky Fried Chicken and maybe no pizza. I just signed up for 1 month at this gym, and immediately as I walk in I start to question that decision, because it's really noisy in here, because the music is really loud. So, you know, not good for video and content creation with this loud music. And also the lighting in here, I mean, it's not bad, but it's not good either. I mean, there are some spots in like Black's gym where I've been training where the lighting is absolutely amazing and you just look round and full and jacked. Same with HD Fitness, like some spots in there you look absolutely jacked. And as a YouTuber and a content creator, of course you want to go for that. I mean, it's not like you get more jacked by being in the good lighting, but all of a sudden you just pop differently. So regarding your training program, I don't follow a training program at all. And I 100% wake up every day, look myself in the mirror, feel my body, and I interpretate what the best decision is. Now, what I do is not what I recommend other people to do, and I'm not telling other people to do what I'm doing. And actually in this case, I actually believe that most people should have a training program because of the accountability aspect. So I do believe that most people need to be accountable, and it needs to be really clear whether you follow your program or not, so that you don't get lazy about it, right? But for me, I love training. Training is my favorite part of the day. I am not gonna get less lazy and stop training. There's no way, right? So I don't need the accountability aspect of the training program. And I reached the point now where I will benefit more from interpreting my body and how I'm feeling this day rather than sticking to a training program. And I do believe that is a more advanced approach, but I do also know that there are many really advanced bodybuilders who follow this approach. And I do want to add in as well that a lot of people wonder, you know, should you do high reps, low reps, what angle is the best, you know, all of that paper stuff, you know, the program on the paper. And the truth is that when people ask me, I think kind of like, sure, like we can discuss it, but I do believe that you're focusing on the completely wrong thing, because it's not what's written on the paper on your program that really matters. It's how you move the weight. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. Let's do this set and see how it feels. Oh, this is a heavy machine. This is really a heavy machine. Ooh, that felt nice. I was connected with that set. So there are a lot of smart people doing really smart programming when it comes to bodybuilding. But I do believe that if you understand the basic fundamental concept, maybe you increase the volume for your prioritized muscles maybe you decrease the volume for the muscles that are not prioritized, and maybe you do higher frequency for the body part that you need to bring up and lower for the others. I mean, that's basically fundamentally the biggest thing. And after that, maybe you choose to do exercises in a certain order to make sure that your joints feel good and all of that. So, but once you understand all of that stuff, you don't need to have it written down on paper in order to do it, right? I don't need to have it written down in paper in order to train my chest and my arms more frequent than my back, for instance. And I do believe that I reached a point where I already know most of the aspects when it comes to programming, and I will benefit more from just working with my body and not against my body, not forcing my body to do something that I may not feel that day. Maybe I slept bad, maybe something was wrong, right? Or maybe I just don't feel like I got it in me one day. Like mentally, emotionally, maybe physically. Maybe one day my shoulders feel weird, and maybe that day it's written on the paper that I should do bench press when I really shouldn't do bench press because my shoulder is weird. And that's the main reason why I don't have a training program, because I know for a fact that everything, the whole thought process that goes into having a training program, I already know that. I can do that day by day. I don't need to have it written down. Like, I don't need to write it down for future me, because future me will already know that everything that I already know now, and he will know more because he will know the circumstances as well. That's it. There is a really delicious glute over there. Like, wow. Like, you don't typically see that on Asians. Like really, like, yeah, like, maybe I was a little bit stereotypical, but that's the top 1% of the glutes here in in Asia. That's wow. Well, there is something that I do want to say regarding how you train, right? So as a beginner, I say, and an intermediate, and depending on your personality, maybe you should have a training program, maybe you shouldn't, right? But I do believe that things change when you stop chasing the numbers and you start chasing the connection with the muscle instead. So if you do a warm-up set and it feels really good, and then you increase the weight and it feels good still, and then you go to your working set and sure you lift the weight, but it doesn't feel the same. You lost the connection on the way. And in my opinion, you're in the power building territory. You're no longer doing bodybuilding, you're doing power building, because you sacrificed your mind-muscle connection for the weight, right? And that's typically what you do as a beginner and an intermediate, because you need to chase that progressive overload. So that is what you're supposed to do in the beginning. But then when you develop and if you choose to do bodybuilding, not powerlifting, not building, if you choose to do bodybuilding, you need to focus on the muscle more so. So if you increase the weight to the point where you slightly lose mind-muscle connection, but you move heavier weight, you're slightly more and more moving into power building territory instead of bodybuilding territory. So I believe that's like a big thing as well, a big reason why I don't like to do the progressive overload on paper. It's because I don't want to focus on getting a number, because I know that I've reached a point where I will be able to improve my number maybe every other week. So seldom, very, very few times. But I will be able to grow a lot of muscle, even though the numbers don't go up, right? Now, if I do a new exercise, sure, I will be able to increase the weight a lot faster, but that's not my muscles getting stronger. That's the central nervous system adjusting. And in my opinion, that is not a beneficial thing. It is a bad thing, because you don't want to move the weight more efficiently. You want it to be tough on the muscle, right? Let's put on some weight here and see. This is a incline, so I do believe this is a really good machine. But it's really light. This is too light. I will probably max out this thing. Fully loaded. All the weight is on. If this is too light, I have a problem. Oh, like, this is amazing, but this will be like 20 reps. What the fuck? How can this be so light? I'm not a strong dude. Oh, well, that depends who I compare with, but I mean, I'm not that strong. I shouldn't be able to move the maximum weight like this. Well, this is gonna be a high rep set. That was amazing. Wow, holy shit, that's a great machine. That's a great fucking machine. Man, I love this machine. Just gotta figure out a way to add more weight. Can't find a way to add on more weight. I think I did about 15 reps. So I guess this is the kind of machine where I will do the high reps, slow, hard contraction. Like the way you connect, like the way I connected with this machine was absolutely amazing. So I think this will be like a machine that I use to contract the muscle. So you can contract the muscle as a bodybuilder, or you can focus on force production, which is basically like moving heavier weight. And then you have the spectrum in between. So how much do you want to move towards moving heavy weights, and how much do you want to focus on actually purposefully contracting the muscle harder than you need to. I don't need to contract my muscle hard right now. I can hold this position without contracting, right? But I can focus on contracting as well, like where do you want to be on the spectrum. And for this machine, this will be like 80% contraction and shorter rest period. This is like maybe 1 minute rest.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
That's fucking amazing. Just gotta show you the machine. This machine right here is absolutely fucking amazing. Absolutely fucking amazing. Like the contraction. Only problem is that the weight stack is just too little. I don't know, maybe they have versions of this where, I mean, they should be able to add on weights, but in this gym they don't have it. Maybe at different gyms they have more weight. I don't think there's any way to add on more weight, unfortunately for me. Some places have, like, you can add on extra weight. This one doesn't seem to have it. Unfortunately, I do not have a good feeling about this machine, just because it looks a lot like a different machine that I've done before that I didn't like that much. In particular, you know, like sometimes they look alike, but they move completely different. But for some reason, my gut feeling says it's not gonna be good, but I'm gonna go in with an open mind and do my best. So there was this kid, I think I can say kid because he was actually in the age of a kid who used this before me, and he moved really well. I was impressed. Like when you see somebody who is a beginner, and you can clearly see that it's a beginner because of the age and, you know, maybe a little bit chubby, not developed yet, and you just see them move well. I mean, I fucking love that shit. If I see a kid move well, man, I'm impressed. Like he moves better than a lot of the bigger bodybuilders. Not better than the big, but he moves better than a lot of intermediates, and he's a beginner. And I could tell, like when he squeezed, he was connected, and I was so impressed. Man, bro, you don't have any muscle to connect with, and still you connect. Like, that's amazing. That's truly amazing. Okay, let's see here. Let's see here. Like I want this one to be a decline. It moves at an incline angle, but I want it to be a decline. It looks like a decline. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna show you. Let's see here. I'm gonna move my ass that way, which is gonna put my body in a decline. So the machine did not change, but I changed the angle of my own body. Yeah, I'm gonna need more weight. I'm the Mr. Lightweight guy, you know, who really uses light weight, and still I need more weight. Like, here's the thing, I believe that I believe that most bodybuilders are in agreement on how heavy the weight should be. There's one kind of bodybuilders that came from moving heavy weight. They came from the power building, right? And those guys, like me, I came from the power building side. We're like, no, you don't have to move that heavy weight. Why? Because we moved so fucking heavy weights, we thought we needed to move so heavy weight. So now we say you don't need to move that heavy weight. And then there are the people who went into the gym only moving really lightweight, doing pretty much cardio or nothing, didn't even challenge themselves, and then they started moving heavy weight, and then they started to grow, because what they did before was just a fucking joke, and they pushed, you need to use heavy weights. But I believe that most people, like, there is a sweet middle ground, and I do believe that most bodybuilders actually move just about the same heavy weight. Like, not literally, like some people had on 4 plates when I had it on 2 plates, right? So some people are stronger than others, but in terms of how it should feel when you move the weight, I do believe that most bodybuilders do pretty much the same thing. I added on a plate to each side, so 20 kgs on each side added. This might be a little bit too heavy, it may not be. At this point I feel like I'm pretty skilled at moving weights, which means that I can probably use a weight that is too heavy for me and still connect really good with it. The only problem is that I will end up doing like 4 reps or something, which does not cut it as a bodybuilder. I know what the science says, I know what the literature says. Well, the only thing is that reality says something different. And I'm always trying to avoid getting too complicated with things, but I do believe that we have the answers, but it's just too complicated for most people to understand. But like, if you ask like intensity versus volume, like how heavy and how hard should you go for one set, and then how many sets should you do? Should you decrease how tough the set is to do more, or should you like do less sets and do harder sets? Like, where should you go? And there is something within physics. This is basic within physics, but gym bros don't typically know. Gym bros don't know physics, right? There is something called work, and it's basically force, which is intensity, how much force you have through your muscle, times distance, how far you move the weight. And how far you move the weight is volume, okay? So force times volume equals work. And I believe that work is the key. So I believe that you need both. You need to have enough force production in the muscle, and you need to do enough volume. And at the middle ground, there's this thing called the conjugate rule in math. And it basically says that you should split your efforts equally to the 2 different factors, which means that if you increase the weight 20%, you increase the weight 20%, but you lose half the reps, you lost 50% on one end and you gain 20% on the other end, that's a bad deal. You just lost work. And it's basically gonna cost you the same amount of recovery. I'm sorry, I just got too technical. I'm sorry. I need to keep it basic. Okay, this is gonna be a real basic set. Look at this. That was a little bit too heavy. I did 7 reps, it's okay. This is how it looks. The kid had it loaded up here and I added this thing on. This is the machine, by the way. This is how it looks. And I'm gonna compensate with a little bit of volume, so I'm gonna take off the plate, use the lighter weight, and just do like 20 to 30 reps. I would say like reps in reserve, I will probably have like 3 or 4 reps in reserve. But RPE, like how far did you feel like you pushed yourself, it's gonna be a 9 or a 10. So I'm gonna push it really, really hard. But when you do high reps, you can push it really, really hard and still have some reps in the tanks. It will still be a tough set. Still to this day, there is no better movement for the side delts than heavy dumbbell side laterals. I feel like you got your dose of physics before, so I'm not gonna dig deep into that one. But in case you want to figure it out for yourself, you will find the answer within Newton's first 3 laws, or Newton's only 3 laws. You will find the answer there why dumbbell side laterals is the best movement. If your goal is to build the most aesthetically pleasing body with the right proportions, right? And you have a weak link in your physique that's gonna matter a lot more than everything else if you bring it up. That is the weak link that you need to focus on, right? Why would you train anything else in the gym if that muscle is recovered and you can't train that muscle? There is no higher priority. And that's why, as a more advanced bodybuilder, a training program may tell you to do a certain thing when the smartest thing is to go in and train your weak link. I absolutely love to train at different gyms. And the main reason why I love that shit is because you cannot just go back to your old habits. You need to adapt, right? You need to adjust according to what equipment they have and everything, right? And when you do that, it forces you to focus. And I do believe that one of the key ingredients is focus. So it forces you to focus and adapt. And every time you get into a new environment, it is a new possibility to improve. Let's see here. No idea how heavy this weight is. I'll figure it out soon, or I'll find out soon. That was too light. I have to increase. Fuck it, we're going full stack. Let's try this. This is probably too heavy, but hey, full stack, bro. Sometimes a bro just gotta be a bro. Yeah, that was too heavy. Maybe I should have used like the wrist straps. Would have probably have gotten me another 2 or 3 reps. After a heavy set like that, I know like the power building bros, like I have a lot of power building friends, a lot of them, right? And they all started out trying to build muscle, but they fell in love with a logbook more so than actual building muscle. Well, after I do a heavy set, like if I do a heavy set and it's like less than 8 reps or maybe less than 5 reps, I get no satisfaction from that. I don't feel like I finished the muscle properly. I feel like, yeah, sure, I took it to failure, but it was more like a central nervous system thing rather than actually exhausting the muscle. So I'm gonna do another set. You don't have to see that because it's the same, but another set of that. I used to get really technical with the dips, you know, with the alignment and everything, you know, where the hands are pointing, which direction the elbow travels and all of that. And I do believe it's good to get an understanding, but like where I'm at now in my bodybuilding process, I basically just connect. I just like wherever I want attention to be, I just place it there. I don't need to have a rule of which direction my elbows are supposed to go. I just place the tension wherever I want to. And I guess that's the benefit of being long into the game, that you can just go in and just fucking do something. It's like a musician with a good ear, like has been playing his instrument for a long time. He can just go in and play whatever the fuck he wants to do. He can just put on a song and start playing to that song, right? He doesn't need like the notes for it. He just fucking knows, right? And it's the same thing for a bodybuilder who has been working hard on training, and especially if the bodybuilder is gifted in terms of mind-body connection. Like a bodybuilder who is tuned with his body, he can do completely different things compared to someone who is like more, let's call it slightly autistic, you know, more like mathematical way of thinking, but doesn't really connect with the body. I think you should do both. I mean, I think you should figure it out on paper and with a mind-body connection. Let's see here. So I want this on front delt and tricep, no chest. Yeah, I'm gonna increase the weight. Man, the music here is so loud, it cuts my ear. Everything here is loud. Like when I mean everything here, I mean here in Da Nang, and I haven't been to the rest of Vietnam or really been much in Asia, but I've been in Da Nang and I've been in Bangkok, and everything is loud. I feel like there's a competition to make the most noise, thinking that you will sell more or be more like, it's like more, like there's just so much noise, man. And I don't like, I'm a man of focus. I'm a man of focus. I don't like a lot of noise, but Hey, let's get the work done. Oh, okay, now we're talking. Gonna have to hold myself down. Fuck. Let's see if I can. Okay. Oh, this is a front end killer. That was a lot of tension on the front delt, just like I wanted. I think I'm done with the chest and the shoulders and the back. Like I'm gonna hit the lats in a different workout, so I know I didn't hit my whole back. I'm gonna hit my rear delts in a different workout. I know I didn't hit my whole complete rear delts, right? But I think I'm done with all of that for today. And I'm gonna go for arms and maybe calves. I'll see. You know, there is one huge problem with my favorite gym in Da Nang. And my favorite gym in Da Nang so far is Black's gym, and it's absolutely great. I love the guys over there. Like, I have a couple of friends from there, and absolutely great, right? But there is one really big problem with that gym: the cable. Like, man, the cable just, you know, when it's like some parts have real resistance and some parts go easy, and then, you know, the cable is not smooth, right? And I actually asked the guy called Tim, and he said, like, yeah, it's because people drop the weight, so they're not gonna fix it because someone will ruin it immediately after just by dropping the weight. And I find that really sad because, come on, like, in my opinion, there are barbells, dumbbells, cables, and machines. And as you become more advanced as a bodybuilder, fuck the barbell. Like, the barbell does not belong in bodybuilding, bro. Like, it does not, okay? Now, if you like the barbell, sure, you can do it because you like the barbell, but as a bodybuilder, it's not a good tool. Dumbbells still great, right? Cables, absolutely key, and machine key. If you have bad cables at the gym, I mean, that's like a third. That's like a third of the access that you just lost. Crazy, crazy. Gonna do some simple tricep. Oh, the cable is smooth. Thank fucking God for a smooth cable. And also, like the one at HD Fitness, that one is smooth. The only problem is that you can't put it higher than here, which means that the cable is gonna be down here, which means that you cannot get a full stretch. So, like, finally found a cable. Like, bro have been looking all over Da Nang for a cable, man. Yeah, let's bump up the weight. Fuck, this might be too heavy. No, it's not. Just fucking do it. Oh, that's a good drive. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. Yeah, was not gonna. I wanted to satisfy my ego and go for one more, but it was not the right move. Like, that's also a big part of, like, that has been the hardest struggle for me in my bodybuilding journey. Is knowing when to stop. Know when to stop the set. It's not productive past a certain point. You're just burning yourself out, but the muscle is already finished, right? Same with the calories when bulking, man. Know when it's enough, bro. Your body is so saturated with calories, bro. You don't need more. But I had to push the calories because I just had to push. Like, knowing when to stop is a big thing. That's it for today. All right, it's time for a post-workout smoothie. And man, nothing is better after a workout than, you know, some sugar and some fluids when you're slightly dehydrated from the workout and you really crave that sugar to refill your glycogen, right? So what I believe that most people have been most interested in this part, because I will go over my new gear protocol in terms of, you know, performance enhancers and what I will do about that. So like, disclaimer. I do not recommend anyone to do anything or use this information for anything. I am not a doctor, okay? So this is for entertainment purposes only. Okay, so first and foremost, when it comes to the performance enhancers, we gotta talk about the milligrams. So that's like the main thing. Like, what is the total dose going to be? Like, how many milligrams in terms of just pure power anabolics am I going to be on? And I'm gonna go with 2.4 grams. The reason is because it just adds up nicely. It adds up nicely with a number. So, like for instance, if somebody goes on the first cycle, the amount will be either 250 milligrams of testosterone or 300, depending on what is in the vial. So it's a 300 milligrams per meg. Then you will probably go with 300 milligrams per week, right? So I like the number I'm going with is the one that makes the most sense, that is easy to measure, and that is in the right ballpark, which will be 2.4 grams total. Half of those milligrams will come from testosterone. So I will be on 1.2 grams of testosterone. Now the thing with testosterone is that it converts to estrogen, and that's basically where you get all the side effects. And there are like two main ways to solve this problem, because we're gonna need the milligrams, right? There's no way around the fact that we're gonna get the milligrams up. So one way, and this is like the old school traditional way, that is to just add in an aromatase inhibitor, such as Arimidex, for instance. I believe it's, ooh, thank you. Look at this, beautiful. So Arimidex will lower the estrogen. Arimidex has gotten a bad reputation lately, and it's completely wrong and completely false. And the reason, what people have done is that they look at studies and they don't read the study, they just read the conclusion, they read the abstract, right? So they look at the study, they say, oh shit, we're gonna get these side effects if we take Arimidex based on this study, not realizing that the study was when they had women with breast cancer on Arimidex, they decreased their estrogen to basically to zero. And then they saw the side effects. But the side effects that the women got wasn't from the aromatase inhibitor in itself, it was from too low estrogen. So the problem isn't the aromatase inhibitor, it's if you decrease your estrogen too low, that's when you're gonna get the problems. So there is absolutely nothing wrong with taking an aromatase inhibitor as long as you don't lower your estrogen too low. That's when you're gonna get the side effects. So like for a while there were like people going crazy, like making it sound as if you were gonna fucking die if you just touch Arimidex, just because they didn't really understand. It's like people looking under the microscope and seeing something and thinking the whole world is about to explode because of something they saw under the microscope. They got no perspective, right? So there's nothing wrong with the aromatase inhibitor. The other way that I believe that many bodybuilders do now is that they take a different anabolic that is going to decrease the estrogen. And typically people go with either Equipoise EQ Boldenone, or they go with Primobolone, or they go with Masteron. So Boldenone and Primo will actually decrease your estrogen. Masteron will not technically decrease your estrogen, but it's gonna block the estrogen from working in your chest area, which means that you will not decrease your estrogen, but you will not have the side effects because estrogens will not be able to like do its job basically in the chest area. You will not get gyno. That's basically it. So you can technically run pretty high estrogen with Masteron in and you will not get a side effect. Now, there has been this thing where people talk about Boldenone like it's the fucking devil, and it's once again people not understanding the science and the literature. First and foremost, the studies that have been done on Boldenone has not been done on Primo, which means that as far as we know, Primo may have the exact same side effects, as far as we know, right? In terms of the scientific literature. We have not studied Primobolone. That's why we don't know, okay? Now, the reason why we're gonna go towards Boldenone, or why I'm using Boldenone, I'm using Equipoise, the reason is because it's slightly stronger, first and foremost. Secondly, you get it's dosed, double dosed. So like if you buy Primo, you get 100 milligram per meg. If you buy Boldenone, you get 200, which means that you get twice as much, right? and on top of that it's a little bit stronger. And then when you buy it, you have to pay twice as much to get the Primo is twice as expensive, which means that you're paying a lot more to get the Primo. The Primo is expensive. That's why we want to see, okay, is there a possible way that maybe Boldenon has got a bad reputation, and maybe it's not true, and that's actually the case. So there are like a couple of things. First off, for some reason people believe that Boldenon will destroy your kidneys. There are a lot of smart people, Vigorous Steve for instance, Kurt Havens. I'm just naming names so the nerds will know that I have good sources, right? But Vigorous Steve, Kurt Havens, Alex Kickel, he's a smart fucking dude by the way, Alex Kickel. They all have looked into the studies, and there's fucking nothing that shows that you should, like, it's gonna ruin your kidneys. And the circumstances where people pull that conclusion from is completely wrong, okay? So that's a really important thing. So as far as we know, Boldenon does not destroy your kidneys any more than anything else, as far as we know. What destroys your kidneys is high blood pressure. High blood pressure will destroy your kidneys, which means that maybe D-bol is a lot worse for your kidneys than Equipoise, for instance, because D-bol will make you heavier, it's gonna swell you up, and when you become heavier, you swell up, you're gonna increase your blood pressure, and that's bad for your kidneys, okay? So the next thing that people say is bad is that it's gonna make your blood thicker, right? And this is the thing, like, as far as I've been able to tell for myself, and also looking at, like, once again, Vigorous Steve, Kurt Havens, what's that dude called? I forgot his name. Well, smart fucking guys, okay? They looked into it, and as far as they have been able to tell, and this is also my conclusion for myself based on my blood work, Equipoise will make your blood thicker faster than testosterone and other compounds. But then it plateaus at the same level. So testosterone will make your blood just as thick as Equipoise. The only thing is that Equipoise does it faster, but it's gonna plateau at the same level. And the main thing that you can do to keep your blood thin is to be hydrated, okay? And that's the thing, like, I was on a gram of EQ, Boldenon. And people said that my blood should be really fucking thick, my kidneys should be in danger, right? And I took the blood work, and my blood was not thick. Why? Because I was hydrated. I drank maybe a liter, maybe more, before they pulled my blood, right? So I was hydrated, and on top of that, I took Babe aspirin just for extra security. Listen, I don't think like I should need it really, but I do it for extra security just because everybody says that it's gonna make your blood thicker, right? So I use that as extra security just in case I happen to be wrong. I do not believe I'm wrong. I'm pretty fucking sure I'm not wrong on this one. And a lot of people are making too much noise, making it sound like they know more than they do. Okay, so there is no real benefit to taking Primo or taking Masteron compared to taking Boldenon. And Boldenon is easily the cheapest option. And it's gonna work, and bodybuilders have been using it forever, right? So I'm running EQ and I'm running testosterone. Now the next challenge is, so how much do you have of each, right? Because one increases your estrogen and one decreases it. So you need to find a balance, right? And that's very individual. So for me, a 1-to-1 ratio is perfect. So I take equal amounts of both all the time. For a lot of people that will be too much Equipoise. For a lot of people they will crash their estrogen if they do what I do, a lot of people. So it depends on how much you convert. Oh right, and there's one more thing. How our body breaks down the different anabolics is genetic, right? So you have more of some enzymes than I have, and I have more of some enzymes than you have. And then the way our body just breaks it down and processes it, it's different, right? So there may be a possibility that you may respond great to Masteron and not great to Primo. Or maybe you respond great to Boldenon and not to the other one. And that's why, like, the people are looking for the answers online. I'm sorry, but in reality, there's no way around trying the way. I'm gonna try this one because I'm really, really thirsty and really, really feel like having it. Oh my fucking god. So that's where I'm getting my milligrams from. That's the basic power. I do feel like I want to have Trenbolone in, but I'm not having Trenbolone in. I finished the last vial maybe 1.5, 2 weeks ago. I finished the Trenbolone, and I will not add it in yet. Not because of health. Like, people are always like, oh, you should only use it for that and that, and that's the, like, here's the thing, there is no script for what it does, because it's so individual, right? And I just happen to handle Trenbolone really good. A lot of people will give me advice on this topic, and I'm gonna say something that you should never say as an influencer or a YouTuber, but I'm gonna say it because it's reality. The reason why I don't give a shit when people give me advice, why I don't listen to it, it's because I've been punished in my past for doing things that others tell me to do that I don't think is right. I've been rewarded so much every time when I make the decision that I think is right, even though other people say it's wrong. So every time I do what I think, I get rewarded. Things go the way I think they should. Everything makes sense to me. And every time people tell me I should do something that I don't think sounds right or doesn't make sense, I get punished. And that's the reason why I don't really take advice anymore. Like, if somebody tells me something and I say, holy shit, that makes sense, of course I'm gonna take the advice. But I don't take the advice if you give me something that does not align with my view of reality. And that is because I have been punished for doing it in the past, and I have been rewarded every time I do what I think is right. The reason I said that before the Trenbolone is because a lot of people will try to virtue signal on this motherfucker. They will try to make it sound like they are a good guy for telling me that I should stay healthy and stay away from the Trenbolone, right? But if I was running 1 gram of Trenbolone, my blood pressure was good, I was mentally stable, and I took my blood work and everything was fucking good. There is no indication in any way that anything should be bad. Why is Trenbolone bad for me? Explain to me. Oh, it's gonna do this, it's gonna do... No, it doesn't. Look at my blood work. It's fucking perfect, right? And you should never run Trenbolone for this long. Well, look at my blood work. It was fucking perfect. Well, it does things to your brain. Yeah, well, I'm pretty aware. Like, yeah, I know I am slightly sharper. I'm slightly more forward directed, and I am a little bit more like on the edge. But I'm a really calm, mature, emotionally stable person, right? And sometimes I feel like people make it sound like I'm emotionally unstable just because I'm able to speak about what I feel. I can speak about what I feel. It does not mean that I'm emotionally unstable. I can open up about my feelings, right? And I can say I'm angry, but you don't see me act on that shit. You don't see me making bad decisions because I'm sad or I'm angry, okay? And that kind of makes me, it provokes me when people make it seem like I'm unstable, when the truth is that I'm just able to speak about my emotions, and if I'm not acting angry, if I feel a little bit of anger but I don't act on it, it's not a problem, okay? Now, I just defended Trenbolone like fucking crazy, and I'm saying I'm not running it now. The reason is because I want to be able to kick in another gear when it's time, and I don't need it now. I will make results without it just by fixing my diet. So there's no reason for me to put in the Trenbosols right now because I don't need it. I will put, like, make no mistake, this bro, like, what is something I learned from my 10 years of bodybuilding when I was running way too little doses and I wasn't making progress, is that your time is limited. And I'm not gonna waste years when I could get a gnarlier, harder, better, fuller physique. I'm not gonna waste that time. I'm not gonna waste time where I could be on running gear that make me better by not running it, right? So I'm not gonna waste time, I'm gonna add it in for the benefits. I'm just gonna wait a little bit to pull the trigger to when I feel like it's gonna matter more. Now, regarding the peptides, this is the cool shit, okay? So I only have 2 compounds in, 2 anabolics. It's testosterone and Boldenone. I'm running retatrutide. I ran out, like I told you guys the story, right? I overdosed. I thought I took growth hormone, I took retatrutide, and I took 4 weeks worth of retatrutide, and my stomach was completely fucked up. First I couldn't stop shitting for like maybe 3 or 4 days. Like everything was just blasting, like nasty shit, right? Unstable as fuck. And after that I couldn't shit for 2 weeks. So like I know the bad side effect of retatrutide if you take too much, right? And after that I ran out because I took all my retatrutide, right? So that was a disaster. But I'm getting back on it now, retatrutide, because there are like so many benefits to it. Like it's when you eat, retatrutide makes sure that shit gets used the right way you want it to. So your carbohydrate will get stored in your muscle more efficiently, right? On top of that, when you don't eat, retatrutide makes you burn more fat. So the food you eat is gonna get handled better, and then you're gonna burn more fat when you don't eat, right? So it's a like benefit on both ends, right? On top of that, a lot of people can see that it decreases their blood pressure, which is absolutely fucking amazing. It's a key thing. Like, in case you didn't know, the reason why bodybuilders die is because their heart gives out, because before that the kidneys give out, and the reason the kidneys give out was because they had high blood pressure. Blood pressure is what kills bodybuilders, right? And if you can take retatrutide and that solves it, man, that's fucking amazing. So retatrutide does that for a lot of people. Like, a lot of these things are very individual genetics. Like some may take it and see great results with the blood pressure, and some may not. And some may use it and may, like me, may get really fucking round and full and lose, like, keep the same body weight but burn fat and make it fuller at the same time. Like, what benefits you get is very genetic. That's what I'm trying to say. The thing, like, it heals your fucking kidneys. It's good for your liver. It heals your organs. It can reverse. You know how bodybuilders get a bad heart? Like the left ventricle, clavicle, blah blah blah, hypertrophy. The heart grows where you don't want it to grow, right? Retatrutide can reverse that shit. Okay. So it's really fucking good, and you can reverse damage that has been done in the veins, like what do you call it, like the walls of the veins. You can have damage there, and retatrutide can reverse that shit. Okay, so it's like the key to fucking health. Like, every bodybuilder should be running retatrutide along with their cycle. And who fucking knows? Maybe a bodybuilder can run like 4 grams of gear and just have retatrutide in and be more healthy than the average person. So retatrutide, that's a no-brainer, both for its results and for health. Now, the thing with retatrutide is that it's supposed to decrease your appetite, but in my experience, and pretty much everybody I speak with, the experience is that it doesn't really decrease your appetite that much. So if you compare it to Ozempic, the first GLP, Ozempic, it decreases your appetite much more. And if you compare it to tirzepatide, which was the second version, tirzepatide also decreases your appetite even more than retatrutide. So retatrutide is the weakest appetite suppressant. So I'm actually gonna run something new alongside with it, and the truth is that I'm not really well educated, or I haven't known about it for long enough in order for me to fully understand it. So I'm not gonna tell you how it works, because I couldn't do that and with a good conscience, because I don't know well enough for myself. But I'm gonna try to pronounce it. It's called cagrilintide or something like that. I just call it Cagri because you know, it's easy to say, but it's Cagri. Let me take this up. Cagrilintide, something like that. And basically, it is an appetite suppressant that does basically very, very similar things to the GLPs, but it's only for like the appetite suppressant. So I'm gonna use that and see how it works. And that's the peptides. Now, I really, really, really want to use the Wolverine stack, you know, the BPC 157 and the TB 500. The reason why I don't is because I have no reason. Like, my joints are healthy. I have no injury. I have nothing. I have no excuse to run the Wolverine stack. So I have no excuse to run it. I want to run it, but I have no problems. And the reason why I don't have any joint problem, nothing, is because I learned how to lift properly. And that's the reason why I always push on this channel. Train the muscle that you want to grow. Don't train the exercise, right? Feel the muscle. Don't just push heavy weights, because that is the key to staying healthy. Now, I want to use the Wolverine stack, but I can't, because I'm too good at lifting weights in the gym in order to grow muscle and not fuck up my joints. That's the cocky version, right? Now the big thing, the growth hormone. Oh man, I'm so fucking excited, bro. I will be running 9 units of growth hormone per day. You heard that right. 9 units of growth hormone per fucking day. I have never been able to do that before. And well, that's basically because growth hormone is expensive. It's really fucking expensive, and I do feel blessed that I'm able to do that now. That is not something that I take for granted, and I do believe that for as long as I can keep that up, I do believe that I'm gonna fucking mutate. I do believe like you're gonna see a rounder, fuller, leaner, better version of me. Like every time you see me on YouTube, you click on a video, you're gonna see a better version of me. And a lot of people have been telling me that I've been progressing really well, nicely this last like half year. Actually for a pretty long time, even a year. But ever since I left Sweden, a lot of people tell me I have been progressing really nicely. And a lot of it is because I've been running growth hormone. Now I ran out for a couple of weeks. I ran out for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And I feel the difference. I feel the difference without it. And now I'm back on. And I truly believe that I will be able to keep up the 9 units of growth hormone. But if I'm not, I'm not. Like that's too, like I live in reality, and I'm not gonna sit there and not be able to pay my rent because I'm running 9 units of growth hormone. That's not gonna fucking happen. Like just to be clear, but I do find myself very, very privileged to be able to run like that bodybuilding levels of growth hormone. So like depending on what your sources of information are, you're gonna think very differently about it. Some people will think like anything about 4 units, anything more than 4 units is fucking crazy, right? And that's like, that's when you listen to people who try to virtue signal. They try to be a good guy, you know, they basically lie to you in order to sound like a good guy, right? And then there are the people on the other side, like the complete opposite, like Boston Lloyd, who found out that some bodybuilders out there are running 40 grams of growth hormone. And then he thinks like, that's what bodybuilders does, right? Like bodybuilders, they all run like 5 grams of gear and at least 18 units of growth hormone. And the truth is in the middle somewhere. Me personally, I believe that most bodybuilders who try to grow stay between 2 and 5 grams. That's what I believe. Like I believe that the lower end is 2 grams, the higher end for a big bodybuilder is 7 grams, maybe something like that. And then you have the freaks. And some of the freaks, they run fucking 10 grams of gear. And some of the freaks, they can get away with 1 gram. So there are people out there who can run 1 gram of gear. Only 1 fucking gram of gear. And get the same results as somebody else who runs 10 grams of gear. And that's crazy, but that's just the way it is. And the other crazy part is that sometimes the person who can get away with only 1 gram, sometimes that person will get so much side effects from that gram as well that they are not healthy. And sometimes somebody is just so genetically gifted in terms of health and how the body handles the anabolics that they can run 10 grams of gear and still be healthy. That's fucking insane, if you ask me. If somebody can run 10 grams of gear and be healthy, he won the genetic fucking lottery. Because a lot of people don't want to say this, but one of the biggest genetic aspects when it comes to bodybuilding is how well you can handle the gear. Some people run 500 milligrams of something and their mind just can't fucking keep it up. They just can't handle it. And some people can run a lot. Like I can run 3 grams of gear more without any mental problems, and all my health is good, right? That's a genetic gift I got. That's a gift. I'm not saying that you should run that amount of gear, right? Now, like I told you, I'm running 2.4 grams right now. And that's what I'm gonna run. But I'm just saying that a lot of people try to find the right answer online when the truth is that there is so much genetic variety that there is no way to know unless you actually try it. And that's why I tried slowly. You start out slow, you start out low, and then you increase slowly, and you find out. So my new diet is 2,500 calories. I have about 200 grams of protein, just about something like that. I run 1.2 grams of test, 1.2 grams of EQ. I run retatrutide, 2.5 milligrams per week I will run. I will run Cagri. I will not try to pronounce it again. Cagri, just to decrease the appetite. And I will be running 9 units of growth hormone. That's it. That's what I'm going with. And wish me luck, and hopefully you will see me make insane fucking progress. Subscribe so you don't miss it. I hope you, if you appreciate my honesty, because a lot of people actually hate on my honesty, which I find kind of funny. But if you appreciate it, I do appreciate it if you show some love and you subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.